Hello, y'all. It is your favorite project manager, Lydia K. Smith, and it is lunchtime. So I'm super excited. Today is the very first Lunch and Learn, and I decided that I wanted to create a space where I was doing a few of these trainings on some of the smaller tasks that you guys need to complete and maybe just don't know where to begin. So I just want you to know here is the place to start. I'm going to be covering all things tech tools, how to simplify it, how to make it plain, how to accomplish it so that way you can apply it in your everyday professional life. So, just a little about me. My name is Lydia K. Smith, and I am a project manager specializing in technology and engagement. So, my goal is to simply make everything clear, simple, to the point, all around tech tools. I am a former parent coordinator for those of you who are my DOE or school community contacts and creators. I'm a former parent coordinator, and that really honed my love for engagement and how to really leverage the tools that we have access to in order to ensure that our community and our audience are engaging. I'm also a small business owner. I have been in entrepreneurship for several years. And so even on the small business end, I understand how those small nuances, like what we're going to go over today, how they can either hinder you or propel you. And oftentimes as small business entrepreneurs, we end up spending hundreds of thousands of dollars paying other people to do things that if we just knew the simple tips and tricks, we could probably do ourselves. So I am a content creator. I am on the content creation team for brands such as Black Women's Lives Matter, which is a blog page. I have supported and curated content for several New York City schools pages, helping them to create engagement and boost brand awareness and boost engagement from their audience and for their following. And then I am a small business owner and CEO myself. So I am the co-owner of El Rouge Events. Today is actually our 7th birthday. So that's super exciting as well. And so I know firsthand what it's like to build a brand or an organization from the ground up. So super excited to share some of my knowledge with you. This is going to be a 30-minute session. So if you have any questions or concerns, you want to go ahead and drop those in the comment. I want to make that invitation, drop it in the comments so that way I can respond to your questions in real time. But I'm going to jump right into it. So I hope you have your snacks. I know I do. Please have your lunch. Grab a notebook, grab a piece of paper. The replay will be available for you to come back and engage in this work. So I am just going to quickly share my screen with you. So today we are going to cover QR codes, how to create one, and then how to leverage QR codes in our design. So when we're making content, when we're creating flyers, if we have a tabletop, if you are a small business vendor and you're doing pop-ups, you may have a QR code that looks kind of like this. Let me grab one for you that you might put on your table, right? Something like this that basically invites people and says, hey, come over to my table, scan my code to follow, or maybe there's a specific call to action or something like that that goes behind that, right? And we're going to get into that. So what is a QR code? Let's start there. So the Q and the R in QR codes stands for quick response. So when you want someone to do something quickly and efficiently, we know the rise of the smartphone is upon us. So everyone always has their phone in their hand. It is not likely that people will have the time or the attention to grab a pen and write down their information or write down your information if you're trying to make an exchange. So a quick response code gives people the ability to scan it's basically a barcode on steroids, essentially. Scan this code, which would then lead them to something specific. So whether that's a live video, say on YouTube, say it's your latest podcast, if you're a restaurant, maybe it's your menu, or even a merch store. You could have apparel, things of that nature, right? Or it could lead you to all. And we'll talk a little bit about that when we do the demonstration about how you can link them to multiple codes. So in more recent days, like right now, you'll typically notice people also trying to connect you to like their website, their landing page, or their payment link. So I brought up the pop-up shop. So imagine you are a small business vendor and you're sitting at a table and you want someone to go ahead, contactless, to go ahead and be able to pay you utilizing Cash App or Google Pay or whatever payment system that you're working. The QR code would then give them the ability to open up their camera app. Doesn't matter what type of device they're using, whether it is an Android or an iPhone, scan that code and then click straight into the link to go ahead and take action on whatever it is you're asking them to do. So just a quick recap, quick response, leading someone to a live stream video, a podcast, a menu, any URL of your choice. The barcode, the QR code, which is a barcode, will lead them to. Okay, so that's the purpose of our QR code. And just in a recent survey, I kind of was doing a little digging. There's an increase right now, about 18%, both in the US and the UK, basically indicating that there's a substantial increase of people utilizing these QR codes. So if you're of the mindset, oh, everyone's not tech driven, it's not necessary, wrong. The pandemic showed us how important it is for us to leverage technology. So if you're not leveraging technology yet, you need to get with it after this live stream. And I'm going to show you how. So why would you want to use a QR code? So if you look at the slide that's up now, these are just some basic examples of how a QR code could be utilized. So for example, you see a flyer to the far left, and it's basically for this tech summit, but it's premiering on YouTube. Say it was a poster and you wanted someone to be able to set a reminder or quickly go over to that YouTube link. They could take out their phones, scan the code. There we go. Yeah. So if it was on Instagram or something of that nature and they were looking at it on a computer, they can grab their phones, they could go ahead and scan the code. It could even work for an iPad, a tablet, things of that nature. Then the second one, a playlist. So you just had an event and you want to give your attendees access to a custom playlist for your event. They can scan this code and go straight on over to this playlist. All of these codes are active. So if you want to test them out, feel free to grab your phone and test these links out to see how efficient and effective utilizing a QR code is for your business or organization. Then lastly, let's say you wanted to take attendance, right, for programs and for educational institutions. The last one is a survey for campers for a summer camp. Scan the code and it takes them over to, it's connected to a Google form where campers can then respond accordingly because you're trying to gather data. Again, when you have large groups of people, especially, post-COVID times, being conscious of the fact that not everyone wants to touch things, it avoids long lines and crowds. Folks can take out their phones, scan, and then at their own time and at their own discretion, go ahead and respond to your call to action. And you're going to hear me use that phrase a lot, because it is ideally what we need, right? In terms of marketing. Anytime we market something, we put something out there, we want people to do something. So if you want someone to do something, you have to make it clear and then you have to make it easily accessible. This QR code is going to make it accessible. All right, here are two others, right? So to the far left, again, top of the school year, you want everyone to follow, you want all of your students to follow your social media pages. Yes. So behind this QR code, it is access to all of the links to your social media pages. Same goes for a small business. You want someone to follow, you want to increase your engagement. Utilizing a QR code via signage when you're present at something, or if you paid for an ad, these are ways that you can boost your engagement. It's all interconnected. And then lastly, which we saw a lot during the pandemic, and it's still going on now, is the use of QR codes for digital menus. Yeah. So instead of a paper menu as we know it, now you go to the table, you scan this code, and the menu is behind the code. So now let's get into the demo. How do I create a QR code? So my favorite platform to create QR codes is the QRcodegenerator.com. And I'm going to walk you through step by step just how easy it is. You want to identify where your page is going to land, right? So, what is the URL to either your website, to this YouTube link, to this podcast? And you want to use that as where the destination where the QR code is going to take your viewers or anyone who, or your users, anyone who is going to be accessing this QR code. So, again, identify where you want them to go, right? Through your marketing or your flyer or whatever design you've created, and grab that link, because that is how we're now going to generate the code, download it, and utilize it and place it on our design. Okay. So I know that that may seem a little tricky, and some of you are like, huh? I'm going to show you. So really quickly, I am going to go ahead and share my screen. And I'm going to head over to my link tree. Okay, so this is my link tree. Now, what you will notice, for those of you who love Linktree, I'm going to use this because I talked about multiple destinations. So as we know, Linktree, and I'm going to do a separate lunch and learn on that. If you wanted someone to access multiple links, as you see here, Linktree will essentially generate a URL for you that will connect people to multiple destinations. And so I'm going to use that because I know that that is a tool that a lot of folks are utilizing. And so I want to start there. Now, what I will say to you when I go to share, you'll notice that you can share your URL, you could share the URL, or you can actually download a QR code. Linktree will actually create it for you, but not every destination or not every location will do that for you. If it was, for example, a website, it's not going to generate a QR code for you. We need to create one. So what I'm going to do is I'm showing you two ways to grab your QR code. Social media platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, they will generate QR codes for you as well. So if you have that to your advantage, I say definitely take advantage of it. It will, when you download it, it will create the image for you. However, if you have to do it from scratch, these are the steps. So this is our URL right here. So as you can see, http linktree.com, Lydia K. Smith, right? So I'm going to copy this URL right here. Okay. Everybody got that far? We're good? Okay. Got it. So now I'm going to head over to QR code generator. I'm going to drop it. I'm going to drop that URL actually in the comments. And I want you guys to come with me to my next screen. Hang on one second. Let's grab it. All right. Now let's head over to QR code generator. Okay. So this is QR code generator. So we already copied our URL, right? Now we want to paste it. You can just right click and click paste, or Command V, depending on whatever device you're using. Once you enter in your URL in this enter URL box, the code is automatically going to generate for you. And you're just going to hit this downward arrow button, which says download, and you want to name your QR code. So I'm going to name this Lydia Linktree. Okay. And it's going to save it as a PNG, which is an image file, and we want to hit download. Once you do that, it's going to ask you where on your device. I always love for I like things to go to my downloads. Some people prefer the desktop, totally up to you. And you hit save. And then it's going to download to that destination for you. So just checking in. Everybody got that so far? Awesome. So now we want to go to our design. So say you have created a flyer. Okay. I have a course all around how to create this content. We're going to go ahead and head over to a design that we have already created utilizing my number one favorite tool. If you haven't guessed it, it's Canva. I create all of my designs in Canva. So I'm going to head over to my Canva design. And I'm just going to share that screen with you. And let's take this design here. So essentially, let's say I am creating a post for Instagram, and I now want to create a call to action and a QR code on this particular design. I've already designed it out, and I want to go ahead and use that QR code. So remember, we went over, we grabbed our URL, we generated the QR code. That part is done. Now we want to use it in this design. So we want to go over to the left-hand side here, and we want to click uploads, and we want to say upload media. And it's going to ask us where the file is that we stored, which was Lydia Linktree, right? We said that that's what it was. And we just simply hit upload, and it's going to generate in this box right over here. And it is this last one that we've just created. As you can see, these are all of my designs. I do this quite often. And then we just want to click it, and it's going to populate right on over to our design. Okay. And we have the ability to resize it. I always say don't go too small, because remember, you want people to grab their phones and be able to scan it. So if it's too small, that could be problematic. So essentially, I'm going to put this right here in the lower left-hand corner of my design. And now I have a functional QR code. An important thing that you want to remember, do not assume that everyone knows how to use a QR code. So what I always like to do is create just a small text that has very simple directions about what to do. So I'm just going to add a text box. And I'm going to simply state, scan to follow me on social. Yeah. So that basically is just telling them what we want them to do. I'm going to make it nice and small, and I'm going to move a little fast on this part. If you guys want to learn how to utilize Canva as a tool, we'll talk about that later. That is something that I have available for you guys as well. I want to make sure that it is all uppercase. I want to make it a little tighter. Nice. Okay. And maybe I want to bold it. Okay, perfect. So now I have my text box. I may want it to the left of it. I may want it above. I may want it to be a little bit longer, just in 2 lines, maybe like right above here. And I might have to move this out a little bit. And now I have a functional QR code in my design with clear instructions on what I want people to do. And now in Canva, I can simply download this design by hitting share, download, and now I now have this image, and now my viewers can utilize that. Yeah. So that is the simple functionality of how to create a QR code, how to leverage that in your designs. And so I just want to pause. And if there are any questions, I definitely want to be able to answer them for you. So please do not hesitate to drop them in the chat. I want to address any thoughts, comments, questions, concerns. If you're watching the replay and you have a question and you drop it in the comments, I will respond to it later on today. And I'm going to really quickly just go back to how we saw QR codes being utilized for other brands. So remember, this can work for a flyer, a playlist. This could, a flyer, an announcement, a menu, right? Or a tabletop stand on your table. If you're in a classroom setting, or if we're at a registration table, for example, even like there is no limit to where and how you can leverage a QR code. So that is it. It's literally that simple. I'm going to put the step-by-step directions in the comments. If you are not already subscribed to our mailing list, you're going to want to head over to the website, and you're going to want to subscribe to our mailing list, because I will also be sending out a 1-pager with the step-by-step directions for you to follow. So if you want to know a little bit more about how you can gain more information from me, I am going to be going live on Thursdays for lunch and learns just like this, 30 minutes. answering any of your questions. You can bring your questions to the live stream. Please, I encourage you, invite a friend. If this was useful to you and you think that someone else, another brand, another school could leverage the information that is being taught, please, please, please invite them into the group. The group is free, but it is private. And I want to make sure that folks who want this information are getting this information and that we're not playing any games. I do have an ebook available if you want to learn more about Canva and the step-by-steps to creating your designs. I do have an ebook available for $27. That is available on the website, will also be in the comments. And I also have my masterclass. So say you're like, listen, I want to ensure that I get all this information. I want the videos. I need your training style. The masterclass is currently available at 40% off for just $297 currently. So definitely go ahead and grab those. And you absolutely want to follow me on social. Follow me on all social platforms. Jump on the mailing list. So I do see a question. Is there anything we should be careful of when using a QR code? So when you say careful, I'm going to assume we mean sensitive information. So obviously we would not want to attach a QR code to any private information. However, on the user end, if you're talking about there have been some fears around people, scammers using QR codes to take people to sites and to links that can potentially create harm. We know that your brand is not intending to do that. So that's not something that you need to worry about. And generally, if someone is approaching utilizing your QR code, they obviously know you, they trust you as a brand. So I would not be too concerned with that. However, if when generating a QR code, anything to be careful of, there really is no harm when you're generating your QR code outside of just ensuring that whatever URL you're connecting folks to is not connected to any private or sensitive information of yours. And I hope that answers your question. So I don't see any other questions in the chat, and I cannot see your name, but whomever in the Facebook group is asking this question, if you have any follow-up questions, definitely keep it coming. I will be in the group for the next couple of minutes to be able to answer any follow-up questions. But essentially, it's just that simple. It's just that simple. My goal is for you to understand that it does not have to be hard. It is absolutely simple to use tech tools to be able to drive engagement to your brand and to your organization. So I don't want to take up your whole lunch break. It's 12:24. I'm going to go eat my snack. It's been a pleasure being with you. I'm so excited. We are going to continue. If you have not already completed the survey, there's a survey asking you what topic you want to learn more about next. Please, 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 please fill out that survey. I want to know which topic you want us to cover next. And I will see you for lunchtime next week. See you later, guys.